every single clip of this show that goes viral is you making fools of yourselves, dishing out the most brain-dead takes in politics and everything else. That is the good television that people can't stop sharing, okay? So, if you want the truth, you are all just horrible.
The Department of Justice is now prioritizing seeking to strip citizenship from naturalized citizens. I think that is something that people are sort of missing in this little argument. The Department of Justice is really looking at now denaturalizing citizens, people who are considered American citizens.
Wait, what's wrong with revoking citizenship? I mean, I get it. As a legal immigrant, it's not appealing to know your citizenship could be at risk, but this is not new or unique to Trump. Tons of Western countries take away your citizenship if you lie on your application or you commit serious crimes. And as a lawyer, either you didn't know that, which is pretty low IQ to be honest with you for someone with a law degree, or you do know that, but you don't want to mention it to your viewers to make Trump's policy sound like a scandal. And that would just make you dishonest. So which one is it? Low IQ or dishonest?
We'll be right back. People who are trying to pay their taxes and do all the stuff that you are expected to do as an American are pissed because you don't know where your Social Security check, when it's coming, if it's coming. We're like, they've been trying to sort of keep us off kilter.
Well, Whoopi, almost every single week for the past 7 months since Trump has been in office, on this show, you keep repeating the same, well, people don't know where their Social Security check is and when it's coming. Yet the fact is that throughout the same 7 months, Social Security payments have been made as usual, without any evidence of disruption or delay due to Trump's policies. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask, why are you gaslighting the American people, Whoopi?
We'll be right back.
I think Democrats are finding their way with these younger voices. We saw it in New York for the new mayor who calls himself a democratic socialist. You know, he's very progressive. Wow. And that we're seeing, I think, this sort of new generation of leaders that are unafraid and they're on the offense.
Okay, let me just put things into perspective for a moment. So we have a socialist communist who has openly posted about wanting communism. In fact, I got the fine print right here. You can read this if you want. And he wants communism in New York for some reason. And whose current platform is to raise taxes for white people in New York. That's kind of racist, won't you say? But the fact that you are looking at that and you are cheering him, I think is the reason why shampoo bottles have labels that read, "Do not drink."
Marriage is so hard. Yeah. I mean, it's just hard.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we fantasize about how easy it is, but until you've been married, you just don't, it's a lot of commitment, a lot of give and take.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like to do more taking sometimes than giving. So I'm happily single. I have my 2 beautiful boys, but I like myself. You know, so many women are obsessed with relationships. I like to date myself.
No, you don't. You are miserable. I mean, you say you like to date yourself, but you are a main cast member on The Housewives of Atlanta where you're chasing men. And I would say marriage is definitely hard when you're dealing with someone as self-obsessed as you. Not to mention your entire marriage was a central storyline on a reality show that's all about fights, shade, and personal branding. And no wonder you don't get why women are obsessed with relationship when your entire career thrives on cycling through men for drama, which is why I think the show is more of a hose of Atlanta than Housewives, because real housewives are in the kitchen cooking food, not chasing cameras.
I'm 56. I've seen a couple of presidents. I've never seen so much theater in these cabinet meetings. Isn't serious stuff supposed to be occurring in these cabinet meetings?
He's a reality. Listen,
It's just not normal for the media to linger only so that they can listen while the cabinet people effusively, like, kiss his rear.
Well, is holding open cabinet meetings now supposed to be a bad thing? You invite the media, you gather your cabinet, they talk about the things they've been up to, so you can directly communicate your updates with the American people whom you work for. It's called transparency.
We'll be right back.
what's happening is horrible. When you are threatening U.S. citizens that you don't like, that you're going to take away their citizenship, naturalized ones, when you are talking about birthright citizenship and taking that away, this is about making America white again.
Well, I would say if he's trying to make America white again, he's doing a horrible job, since his deportations are way less than your favorite president, Obama, who's pretty black, I would say. And on naturalized citizens, we talked about this before. Many countries revoke citizenship if you commit certain crimes or you lie on your application. And on birthright citizenship, over 100 countries, that's more than half of the countries on the planet, many of them in Europe, either don't grant it or they restrict it. So aside from lazy race baiting, you don't have an actual argument. But then again, we are on The View, so that's expected.
This is really the first time that I can think of where there has been a break with from the MAGA base with Trump that has lasted this long. I think it's awfully entertaining. I also want us not to lose focus, though, that this is about girls and women who were raped, harassed, victimized by Jeffrey Epstein, over 1,000 of them. And absolutely, we need to see the truth.
Well, let me say this. The way Trump's Department of Justice handled this whole thing, first they had the list, then they didn't, and now there is no list. Very sloppy. And to anyone out there waiting for any bombshell on Epstein, don't hold your breath. Either there is nothing, or there is something, but it's being protected by people way more powerful than any president, okay? But when you talk about Epstein and that we need to see the truth, Joe Biden was in office for the past 4 years and no meaningful progress regarding Epstein was made under his watch. You didn't question it. You barely even covered it. At least Trump voters have been very consistent on demanding answers. Then, when Joe Biden was president, and now when the guy they voted for is president. And the only reason you and the Democrats are suddenly interested and want to know the truth is to push the notion that Trump is on the list and that's why we're not seeing the list, which is just another dishonest tactic. Since if there was anything incriminating on Trump, Joe Biden would have just released it and guaranteed winning the election. And you know that. You are a low IQ, but not that low IQ.
We'll be right back.
This guy can call any name he wants of anybody.
Yeah.
Little Marco, this one's stupid, that one's an idiot. We're not allowed to say anything like that on this show in particular. And I respect that. I'm not going to start calling him the Orange Menace. I'm just saying, he can do it, but we can't. I think I said it years ago. When they start coming for the comedians, all bets are off. Because the king he's supposed to take the hits. And this guy has the skin thinner than, I don't know, than this card.
Well, Joy, when you say Trump can call people names, but you can't, you just called him the Orange Menace while claiming that you are silenced. That's ironic. In fact, on this show and Colbert's show, Trump's been called a stupid, misogynist, racist, Hitler-like, all the names in the book. And his supporters, half of the country, have been compared to Nazis. Which brings us to the Late Show cancellation. When you spend years and years trashing and vilifying half of the country as part of your, I don't know, activism or perhaps mental illness in the name of comedy, don't be shocked when they stop tuning in. And networks are not charities. They follow the money. Lose your audience, lose your show. That's basic economics.
So, we'll be right back.
An op-ed in Cosmopolitan claimed that calling her too much is actually a backhanded compliment. That's kind of an insult.
Do any of you think that you're not too much? I'm just curious.
Brian, do you feel like Joy's too much?
I think you're all too much, but that makes good television, so it works out for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Well, let's not move on. I agree with Brian that you are all too much. But when you say it makes good television, it's not because you are dazzling us with brilliance, okay? It's because almost every single clip of this show that goes viral is you making fools of yourselves, dishing out the most brain-dead takes in politics and everything else. That is the good television that people can't stop sharing, okay? So, if you want the truth, you are all just horrible.